And today's guest is Kerri Schuh Klister. She's out of Wisconsin. She was on the AVP tour and had a baby, so taking a little leave there until she gets back onto the tour. And she's the owner of the Sandbox, which is in Wisconsin, where she trains young girls. And anyone else? Any boys?
Yep, all of the above.
All of
Adults.
the above. So yeah, so she's coaching in Wisconsin. So if you guys are in that area,
Trying to bring beach
Sandbox.
volleyball to the cold tundra.
Yeah, but you're building an indoor court, right?
Yeah, that's the plan, yeah.
Yeah, see, so you'll be all year round. So this is
Exactly.
fantastic. This is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Kerri.
Ah, thanks
I
for
know you're limited with your schedule, and I just love your shirt there. That's great.
Oh, we have a game today. My little
We
eighth
do.
grader.
Yeah, great. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to just take a little bit of a change with the podcast. 'Cause normally I've been, talking with practitioners of Voila and how they're working with their clients. But you are, we'll just say, well, a friend, obviously first, but you became a friend after being a client.
Yes.
And if I remember correctly, the first time I saw you was for an ankle injury.
I was gonna ask you if you remember.
I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. It was
I brought in all of my like bands and braces and you were just like, just put those aside. I still laugh about it.
and right, because you were having trouble with that ankle for a while. Is that correct?
Yeah, a long time. Probably like a good 7 months ish.
7 months.
A long time, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I
And
didn't
all
realize.
during off season. So
Okay.
yeah.
Actually, I don't think I realized it was that long. How long did it take us to help you with your ankle?
Well, the session was about an hour, so maybe like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
And
about
the rest
20
of
minutes
the
less.
time, now the rest of the time we sat on the table and you we talked about my grandma.
Yeah, so it took about 20 minutes, and then we got to some other issues, didn't we?
Yeah, which I didn't even know I had.
Yeah, is that something that you're okay and comfortable talking about here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I don't want to have you talk about anything that you're
Right.
not comfortable with, because it took about 20 minutes with your ankle, and then we ended up talking about like your career, right, in AVP and all that, and what you wanted to do. Is that correct?
Yep.
Am I recalling that correctly? It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to replay in my head too, but I think I just remember just you were asking me all these questions and I didn't have an answer, which I still have a hard time answering those questions. But I remember one specifically. You're like, what makes you happy? And like, I just couldn't answer. Like everything, all my answers that I was giving you was always towards somebody else. I was like, oh, making other people happy, or
Right.
I don't even remember. Um, I don't even remember my correct answer that I ever gave,
Well,
but
there's never really a correct answer for that. But your correct answer was, I don't know.
I know now. Yeah.
Right? And that
Yeah.
really is the correct answer. And it's amazing how many people that I pose that question to, they don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like it was like it's always to someone else instead of themselves.
Right.
Yeah, very good. Um, can you explain the best way you can? Because obviously, everybody's like, well, every session is different.
Yeah.
Every time you come to me has been different. But is there a kind of a way where you can kind of explain what Voila has done for you?
Uh, a lot. It has made me more open. It has made me more aware of how I talk to myself and how I think about myself or even just other people. But as you know, most of my injuries have been emotional. Bringing out that emotional chart, and we kind of dig down and get that. But knowing now, I'm I'm aware of how I'm thinking more so. Like not saying I always have the right answers, but I'm like, oh, that's gonna not saying it's gonna cause an injury, but I was like, I'm gonna think more in a positive way so that injury, I guess, in the future doesn't happen. So I'm going to change my thinking. So I don't even know how,
So more
what,
of
what I'm trying to
awareness,
say.
so more of an awareness of your own thoughts.
Yeah, like what's in this noggin up here.
Right. And if I recall correctly, and maybe you will too, I remember one time we were working on your vertical leap. I
Hmm.
think you were having a hard time blocking, or you haven't blocked the ball in a while or something. And I think
Yeah, I'm just getting frustrated because I wasn't understanding this blocking technique that these coaches were telling me. And I was like, I'm just jumping. Like, I don't get it.
right. I believe we worked on your vertical in
Yeah.
one session, and it was nothing physical.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly what you were doing, but you said I was losing the ball, which was totally 100% now that I'm like looking back at it. I was like losing the ball in either my right or left vision up here. So I couldn't find the ball. And then at practice the next day, I like, oh my God, like he's so right. I was
You
like,
were able to block the ball, weren't you?
yeah, like it was so easy.
Yeah. I actually worked with a professional tennis player who couldn't look up and to the left, and he was a right-handed server. I was like, your serve's erratic, isn't it? He goes, how do you know? I go, because you can't see the ball.
But it's so weird because like I'm so used to like you play, you practice, and then you just kind of get used to what your body's doing. Like you have these imbalances that you're not aware of, and like, oh, like I'm just gonna overcompensate and use my other leg. But like, and then I go see you and you're like, oh, is this happening or is this happening? I'm like, yeah, but like I just play with it, and then like that becomes my new body because you're just used to it.
You're right. And then, so this is a question that I get asked a lot. So I want to ask you. So, like, after I make a correction, because some athletes get worried about, well, you took away my compensation. Now what am I going to do? What's going to happen? How long does it take you to reintegrate what VOILA has done for you?
I don't think it's taken me too long, like almost the next day. Like I feel fine. I think I just feel lighter. I feel like on a fluffy cloud. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weird saying that, but I don't know. I feel obviously balanced, but I don't feel so heavy. Like I'm
right.
trying so hard.
So then it's not really taking a cognitive thought to how am I going to compensate. You
It
just
just
perform.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And that's one of the things I've been trying to get across to, the training community and body workers or whatever that I teach is you don't have to sit there and cue all the time.
Yeah,
You get the body to move the way it's supposed to, it doesn't have to think.
yeah,
It can just do it.
yeah. I remember when we were playing Lauren Fendrick and Sarah Sponsel, and you came to watch me.
Hmm.
And I remember I was having a hard time. Something was not clicking, and I looked at you, and you gave me like the infinity, or you said let it flow or something.
Right.
And, like something triggered in my head, and like instantly I felt like a fluffy cloud, and it was just easy, and then we won.
Ah,
It's like the
I,
number one like game I remember. She just went to the Olympics, and I'm like, oh my God. Right. I mean, granted, she has different partners. She's been playing like longer now, but
right. But
yeah,
still, because I was seeing you overthink.
yeah.
Right? And I remember you were trying to figure out what my hand signals were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, stop thinking, stop thinking.
Yeah.
Just let it flow. And that's that thing. It was once your body can flow easier and it doesn't have to compensate, it does to an athlete. It feels like they're floating. It feels easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of the great things of why I want to talk with you is because, sometimes I state these things online and I don't think people fully understand it. And you've experienced it. So whatever experience that you can share to help them understand would be fantastic.
Oh man, I feel like I have so many experiences.
That's good.
um, I think the top questions that I get from other people is like, what does he do? Like, how does he do it? Like, what is he doing while I'm like, I don't even have an answer to that. And that's why I'm like super excited to take this seminar. Like, I remember the first time I was explaining I went to that, you fixed my ankle. I was explaining to all my friends, like, he's just going like this, doing his thing the whole time. And I'm like, I don't know what he did, but he just did it.
Also, too, I'm also I'm doing many different things at the same time. It's all voila, but I think what you're saying here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I make it as a conversational aspect as I'm doing a bunch of different things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you don't really understand what I'm doing because I'm doing multiple things at different levels at all times.
exactly. I was like, he's just doing these signals, but also asking me these questions that I don't have these answers to. But then we're talking, and then I'm crying, and then it's like I feel great.
That is one thing I share is we'll laugh and cry within seconds of each other, right?
Yes, all the time.
All the time.
I
All
think I think my number one, my favorite like kind of funny moment with you was when I came out to California with my friend a year ago. A year
mm,
ago. So backtrack, I had miscarriages of twins, and you helped me get over them so I could get pregnant again. And I came out, and I didn't tell you that I was pregnant because I kind of wanted to trick you because I've been around you for a while.
right?
And I was on the table, and you like did your assessment, and you said you almost let go of the twins. Like you still have he's still in you. Like you haven't let go of one of them yet. And I didn't say anything. You just kept going, and you're like, oh, I see what you did there. You're like, you're pregnant again.
Yeah.
And then that was the only time ever I remember being completely balanced. Every time that I've come to you, there's always been something to fix, but I was balanced from head to toe, and I felt like I knew I was before going in there.
Right. Yeah. So I was able to find out that through my testing that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, you're totally fine. Get off my table. Well, the other part I remember of that, Kerri, is because I had my dog Flex at the time, who's no longer with us, but he walked over to you, and he was only like a foot tall, so he would sniff your leg, and he walked away, and he went right to your friend. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, Kerri's fine. I need to work on her friend.
He's so smart.
Oh, he was amazing. He was amazing, but he
Yeah.
didn't tell me you were pregnant either. Which is going to bring us to Reggie. So thank Reggie for taking a little nap now, so I can have
Yes.
a little bit
Yes.
of time with you. But we just had what was the last couple of weeks? Something happened with Reggie. Anything you'd like to share there?
Yeah, I'll share the whole story if you got time.
Yeah, sure.
Oh man, I still like get emotional thinking about it because it's my son. Like
Right.
it's scary. So we took him to the ER because he had a febrile seizure. He had like a really bad temperature, got up super high. Um, they did all their tests, like nothing was wrong. And then I come home and I knew something was wrong still. Um, so then I called luckily, so thankful, I coached the pediatrician's daughter. So I just like texted her. I was like, hey, I don't know if you've known, but like we were in the ER. I was like, is there any way that I can get in like ASAP? Like there's something going on. And she said, yeah. So I brought him in, he had an ear infection. Like I'm a first time mom. I don't know what's going on.
Right. Right.
So they gave me antibiotics, but I'm like a super healthy person. I try not to take the medicine if I can't.
Mm.
I really wanted to just talk to you and see if you had another way first. Um, so I talked to you and you gave me a couple corrections. And it was like, he looked at me like this. As soon as I made that correction, it was so cool. And then he ate. He wasn't eating for a whole week. And then he finally ate that night.
Wow.
Like so much food. It was so cool.
That face never gets old. That what they when they give you that, I get that a
Oh,
lot. My adult clients that come in. You get that same face, and you're like, and I know it's hard to explain that face, but it's like they're like, "How did you know that?" Or "Thank you," right? It's
Yeah.
like a gratitude face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was cool.
it's pretty fascinating. So his ear's doing fine now.
His ear is, yeah, we had a checkup like a week or so after and no more ear infection.
Right. Yeah. Can we share what the correction was that we did on that one?
Yeah. Um,
We actually had to pull his ear outward, right?
yep, the ear was up and then the hair, I don't know what you call it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
parietal here,
I
right?
had to go backwards. So
Yeah.
it was just like the tiniest little movement and it was like voila.
Working on babies is can be scary, right? Because they're so like
uh,
sticky and fragile, but it's actually really easy
yeah.
because they're so
Oh,
open and things move really quickly
yeah.
and whatnot. And
But
I
it's
think just
because he hit his head, right?
right.
Yeah. Because
He
the first thing
said,
you asked me was, did he hit his head? And I was like, he hit his head. He's
when
hit his head.
doesn't he? Right?
Like, he's a boy too. He gets in everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think his left side of his face was pushed back, right? Or
yeah.
this, and that was
I
causing the
remember now.
sinus.
Yeah. But it was fun because just before I got to work on Reggie, it must have been baby week because my niece had a baby and his foot was just cranked all the way over to the side. Doctor's like, "Oh, it'll be fine." I'm like, "That's not fine." So she called me up. She's like, "Anything you can do?" I go, "I don't know." That's my typical answer, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
And she was holding on to the leg, and my sister happened to be there, who was taking the class, so I was talking her through it. And my niece is like, "Oh," like this. I'm like, "What? What happened?" She goes, "His knee just clicked." I'm like, "Perfect. That's what I was working on," and his foot was perfectly straight.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's still perfectly straight, which is cool because I've been checking in with him there.
Uh,
So we got a seminar coming up in October,
hmm
and so get some people signed up for that. Do we have a location exactly yet? Because we're going to need to post that soon.
Yep. Undecided. Working on it.
Okay, so we'll get that in the next few days
We'll,
when
yep.
Kerri gets some
I'll figure
time.
that
We might be outside in October.
Oh, yeah, it might be kind of chilly.
Yeah, we'll be welcome
No,
to 115 I'm sitting in today. So it's been really funny because right, you've been getting some interesting questions from some of the people that have been interested in taking the
yeah.
course. Like they want
Um,
miracles performed. You know?
but you can't do that. Yeah,
Which is great, but we just got to remember too. I'm teaching you how to do this,
yeah,
right? And I think you said something about that this morning in your post. If you haven't, I'll try to put what Kerri wrote down below this podcast when I post it. That it's so simple, but we make it complicated.
oh yeah. Those might be your words
Yeah,
that I stole because I was listening to your YouTubes and podcasts. Like I don't know how simple it is, and I'm like super excited to just be simple because, well, one, I'm a girl, but I just like overthink everything, and just in general, like today's world is just everything always has to have a reason, or there's so much. I have so much fog just in general. Like I want, like you said, I just want it to be easy, and I want to be able to fix Reggie if he hits his head again. And I don't need to bother you all the time, but like that's why I want to learn.
you're never bothering me, even the 3 a.m. texts, you know.
Sorry.
But you know what, though, I just hearing that, though, I think that's a great point that you're making here, Kerri, right? Because we talk about, you're not a body worker, but you're still able to take the course.
Yeah.
But I think the other part of that is as you just said, is for moms to be able to help out their children. Right. That's the other part of this is like you don't have to be a body worker that's working on other people. You can just like help your friends and neighbors or and your own children. Right. That's what I'm trying to do.
I think
community here.
Yeah, I think there's anyone out there you can list a handful of people that could just be helped. Like, just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And
that's how you build a community. Right?
Yeah.
Grassroots, just help the people around you, especially if you're not licensed to be able to touch others, and get paid for it.
I would say I wish that I had more money when I was in California, because if I would have been able to do this all like while I was playing, like, and just assess my own body and just making sure that I'm balanced, I could have been like really great.
Don't worry, you're still right.
I know, I'm great, but like just looking back, like if I would have had this, I mean, if I would have taken the classes when I was out there while I was playing, like having that combo would have been deadly.
Right, because you're able to do things on the fly, right? And figure that out. But also, too, though, when you were out here, you did something that I was honored to do it. Is you got a group of your friends together, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of sat around and talked about VOILA and whatever, and how it could help them out and whatnot. So that was kind of a thing to do.
Yeah. So we got a little taste of it, and it makes me want more. But it was fun.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they were all ABB players. I think I was the shortest person in the room. And I'm 6'2". Yeah, so that was a lot of fun because I just enjoy the teaching aspect of that and helping people out. So that's what I really enjoy. Kerri, is there anything else that you can think of that the people might want to know or need to hear? Any questions that you might have for me?
Like the biggest question that everybody always asks me, like you said, those tough questions. Can you get my smell back? I have MS, can you help me? Like they're not miracles, but it's like a stepping stone of what are you holding within you that's causing this, right? Am I saying that right?
So then I can answer the smell. We have had people get their smell back, and that's non-COVID related. This is prior. One time they walked into the kitchen, and they had smell for years, and they're like, "Who burnt the toast?" And everybody turned around like, "What did you say?" And she's like, "Oh my God, I could smell the toast being burnt."
So cool.
So that was the first time. So that was really cool. As far as MS, there's not a whole lot of people that I know with MS. I have assessed somebody with MS, and I was able to find exactly where the lesions were in his brain. And that was confirmed by he had scans of his brain by his doctor. And he goes, "Yeah, my lesions are right here." But I never got an opportunity to work on him to see what we could do and what we couldn't do. What was most recent actually is my dad has been getting like black floaters when he lays down to go to sleep and when he wakes up. He has these black floaters in his eyes. And so this was 2 days ago. I made a correction to a C1 in his neck, which you can't touch. And he hasn't had floaters in 2 days.
And I think it's not always structural stuff that you like. It's structural, but it's also like I said, a lot of it comes from emotions, and so like you're hiding your emotions in your gut or whatnot, and like that's why things are not working well there. Or
right. And just so we're clear for everybody, the level 1 course that we'll be teaching in Wisconsin will be the physical stuff. And we'll be teaching
Right.
you how to take care of the physical stuff, and then you got to work your way up to working with the emotional aspects. But
Yeah.
you will see them pop up in class, and I will address them as they do. So the class is going to be basically focused on what we call direct force traumas or injuries that you may have had in, maybe a car accident or an athletic injury, overworking,
Yeah.
an injury, something like that's what we'll be mainly addressing and getting people to breathe. So, Kerri, I know Reggie's probably about to wake up, so we
We'll
will
see.
hopefully see you in Wisconsin. It's a month from today, isn't it?
Yeah.
Today's September 1st, so October 1st we'll be in Wisconsin and helping out as many people as we can. So, Kerri, thank you so much
Thank you
for
for
joining me
having me.
today.
Yeah, that was fun.
And I look forward to seeing you in a month.
See you then.